This is a major warning. There is a, quote, toxic dust that is spreading across the US and the UK right now, and it is making people sick. And scientists are testing this dust, and it is coming back with very peculiar properties, okay? It is coming back as magnetic. People can even take it off their cars and it's reacting to magnets. It's coming back as radioactive, and it's also coming back with extremely high levels of toxic materials that shouldn't naturally be forming. And this is coating people's cars. This is coating people's windows on their house, okay? Their houses are being covered in this, and this is happening overnight. Their car's clean, they wash their car, and then they wake up in the morning and their car is covered in this toxic dust. This is happening right now in northern parts of the United States and also all over the UK. This is happening as well. And this could potentially be related to these programs that the government has, where they admittedly release chemicals into the sky to alter things, alter the sun, alter the weather. We're going to get into all these things, and we are going to show the documents as well, because this is a major issue, and the scientists are testing this toxic dust, and they're even admitting, yep, this is just a major dust storm and it's no big deal, don't worry about it. But people are reacting. People are having asthma problems. People are getting sick from this. And if you remember my video last week, I was in the middle of this major toxic smoke storm or something. I'm not sure exactly what it even was. And we were outside when this happened. My wife and I and our kids, we were outside, and it was a nice sunny day. And then all of a sudden it started smelling very sweet in the air. And then it started smelling like chemicals and burning plastic as this smog, this stuff rolled in, and the sun was blocked out for days, and everyone was sick, and we were breathing in these toxic chemicals, and it smelled like burning plastic. All right, that happened to me just last week. I was in the middle of this toxic storm. I'm not sure exactly where it was coming from, potentially from the fires, but I couldn't exactly figure it out why it would be this bad. All right, but we are now dealing with a toxic, quote, dust storm as well. This is coating people's cars. This is coating their homes. This is coating their belongings that are left outside overnight. And this is very concerning that this is happening. And scientists are testing this dust, and people are even testing it themselves. It's coming back as magnetic. It's coming back with extremely high levels of toxic chemicals and even radioactive materials in this dust that is accumulating, and you are breathing in this magnetic dust. And there's even things like smart dust and nano dust that are even possibilities that we need to be thinking about as well, that we will talk about for a little bit on here. All right, so we're going to dive into all this stuff. They are admitting what they are doing. All right, there are government documents admitting that there are chemicals being released into the air constantly. They admit it. And a lot of these chemicals released kind of look like the stuff that's accumulating on people's cars and their homes. So we're going to dive into all this stuff. It's very suspicious that this is happening. And they're just saying, hey, it's no big deal. It's just a dust storm. Just breathe in this toxic dust. And they even admit that it's toxic and you should be careful. But they're also just saying that it's no big deal, as usual. So you can see here this scientist by the name of Owen Mogg. He was doing tests on the samples of the dust that is accumulating on people's cars and throughout the world right now, especially in the UK and the US, like northeastern US, like New England, and kind of the Midwest as well, like Illinois and Ohio. They are getting massive accumulations of this dust. And let me know down below if you are seeing this on your cars or not, because this is happening to millions of people right now. They're getting sprayed with this dust. And this scientist, Owen Mogg, he was doing some testing on it, and it came back with 44 parts per million of arsenic and 15 parts per million of uranium. And the 44 parts per million for arsenic is 4 times higher than the total safe exposure over a period of 8 hours in the workplace, according to the CDC. So 4 times the amount of safe exposure that you can be exposed to in your workplace for only 8 hours in an entire day. 4 times that is now in this dust that is coating the US and the UK right now. Very strange, very suspicious. This arsenic laden dust is now blowing through our countries, all right? And you can see here, it had 15 parts per million of uranium, a radioactive material, all right? So something very suspicious is going on here, and this is not normal to have this arsenic dust blowing around and breathing it in, and it accumulates on your car, and it's even magnetic. You can see here, this is out of CNBC last October. This is a real article out of CNBC. White House is pushing ahead research to cool the earth by reflecting back sunlight. Okay, it says there's several kind of sunlight reflection technologies being considered, including stratospheric aerosol injection, marine cloud brightening, and cirrus cloud thinning. Stratospheric aerosol injection involves spraying an aerosol like sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere. Sulfur dioxide, right? And because it has potential to affect the entire globe, it often gets the most attention. It says, while arguments of moral hazard have handicapped research efforts, the idea is getting more urgent attention as things are worsening. That's what they are saying. All right, so this is a real program. They admit it. It's called stratospheric aerosol injection. Okay, this is from the White House and CNBC, and it's where they spray sulfur dioxide into the air. And look at what sulfur dioxide looks like. Look at this picture of a giant pile of powdered sulfur dioxide, industrial level, where they can mix it with water, okay, make it into a spray, aerosolize it. This is what it looks like. It is almost the same color as this dust that is accumulating on people's cars. Okay, so they're admitting that they do these programs where they spray this toxic sulfur dioxide dust into the atmosphere. And check this, all right? This stuff stays in the air for up to 2 years. You can see here, all right? It says, quote, the atmospheric life of stuff that's injected in the stratosphere is between 6 months and 2 years. Okay, that's what a head expert was telling CNBC about this stratospheric aerosol injection. All right, so it stays up in the stratosphere for 6 months to 2 years. That's why the sun looks so different when it's rising. That's why it always looks faded and blocked out, and it looks white now. It doesn't look yellow anymore. The sun looks white. It's like a very bright white light all the time, and it's a lot more blue instead of yellow, okay? Because a lot of these colors are being blocked out, and they are blocking out the sun, and they admitted, and a major consequence of that is spraying these toxic chemicals into the air. All right, that eventually are going to accumulate and land on us. And sulfur dioxide, by the way, causes sulfuric acid rain, causes acid rain, right? So they're also spraying this into the skies, into the clouds all the time, and it's making it more acidic, and this could cause a major acid rain issue as well, right? So these are things that we need to be asking, why is our government doing this? Here's another article. Feds send millions of dollars for cloud seeding program over the Colorado River. Okay, they are doing this all over the country. This is happening all over, and we need answers, because now people's cars are just being sprayed and covered in these toxic chemicals that are filled with arsenic, filled with uranium, and sulfur dioxide as well, potentially. All these things are being dumped on us, dumped on our crops, dumped in our water supply, dumped onto the land, dumped into the soil, and contaminates it. And then we eat it and breathe it in. And it's also magnetic as well. And some experts were even warning that breathing in this magnetic dust, you should be careful with things like your cell phone, with electromagnetic radiation, because that could potentially be interacting with the magnetic particles inside of your body. Okay, they're even saying things like metal in your clothes that you wear on your clothes, all right, like on your pants or in your shirt or in your underclothes, metal inside of those things could also be interacting with the magnetic particles and cause accumulations in certain areas of your body. All right, that's what experts were warning of, this magnetic, arsenic-laden, uranium-laden dust that is now spreading across the US and the UK. All right, so this is a serious issue, and this could interact potentially even with EMF radiation as well, like things like cell phone towers, 5G towers, things like that along those lines. They could potentially, the magnetic dust could interact with those. And there's even things like smart dust and nano dust that are real things that are very little tiny pieces of electromagnetic material, microscopic pieces of it, that when they are energized by EMF, by electromagnetic frequencies from a distance, it allows them to move and do certain things. They have little nano dust bots that are literally just little pieces of metal that are in a specific shape. That's all it really is. And they're able to energize it with these frequencies from outside of your body, okay? And they have ones that are able to move cells like sperm around, okay? They can move it and force it to go to an egg, right? With these nanobots, it goes and grabs it, the tail of it, and moves it around and makes it swim, right? So that's the stuff that we are dealing with right now. And I'm not saying that is what happened. I'm just saying these nano smart dusts are also being released as well. They're doing experiments on them all the time, and they accumulate in the environment eventually as well. So what do you guys think is going on? What do you think this toxic dust is? And have you seen this on your car or on your windows recently? This is coating everything in the Northeast, in the Midwest right now, and also in the UK. All right, this is coating everything. Let me know if you are seeing this on your car, because people are posting all over social media that they're waking up overnight and stuff is coating their car, and they even clean it off, and the next night happens again. All right, they are getting coated right now with this toxic dust, and I want to know what you guys are seeing as well. So please hit it up for me down below. I really appreciate that, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.